Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Orange Men Podcast. Dave and Clint here with you on Saturday?
Whew, I don't know, man. It's been so long.
Coming from you live from the bunker in Pennsylvania. Clint finally found his way here.
Yes.
I know you guys thought he was gone, but he is back.
We're back.
We're back.
Yes.
Back and better than ever. And we got so much to talk about, so much to go over. There just isn't enough time.
Well, it's multiple shows, so that's what we did.
Okay.
But yes, Dave moved the setup, so I had to mosey on up to the side of the mountain here where you can see.
Well, we had to get away from the powers that be, and
You left me behind.
I did. It wasn't.
But there's
purposeful.
plenty of space in this bunker.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, we got a casting couch over there.
Maybe I'll just down here, me and the fan.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to redo the bunker and make it look like a room instead of an actual dungeon.
Big cracker.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, yes.
There is an escape hatch, just in case.
I think our last show was, I know you did one, last week?
Yeah, it got kicked off of YouTube, yeah.
You can't talk about truth, and if you do, it's getting removed. So
Yeah.
you got to definitely be subtle with your words, and I think the way you described your...
No, I was direct to the point. I was blunt. You can catch it on Rumble.
Rumble, Cloud Hub.
Yeah, I was direct and to the point, and that's a no-no.
Yeah.
The truth was not meant to be said. Okay, here we go. I got I want to start with this Kamala thing last week when she purposely, I think.
Oh, she definitely did it, yeah.
Left out a couple of words. So I'm gonna.
Everything's on purpose, and everything's to get a rise out of us. So yes, correct.
A promise we made in the Declaration of Independence that we are each endowed.
Now, we are each endowed, of course.
Some more than others.
We're endowed by our Creator,
Right.
which is a word she left out that not too many people mentioned.
Right. Well, it's because that means it's God.
Right, you can't have God in anything.
So you can't. They're already skipping that part.
Take away God, take away your rights,
Yes.
control you. She's
So endowed by our Creator.
Right. So we are endowed by our Creator.
Endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Endowed by our creators.
Hey.
How do you leave life out of there? Well, you know.
Well, because she's speaking about the abortion and trying to get it back on the plan and back in their side. So you can't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness when you're talking about extinguishing lives within the womb.
Right.
At your little conference there. So
it's just so mind-boggling to me that you can be so frivolous. Turning the whole. I mean, you're just. It's Nazi. It's Nazism is really what it is. I mean, you're finding another way to exterminate people, and they've done the same thing with the Death Dart. Just another way to exterminate people.
Wow.
And these psychopaths have been talking about that the population. It's part of the whole depopulation process. They're trying to depopulate. Quite frankly, there isn't enough people in this world, if you ask me, and it's not our duty to decide who lives and who dies.
Well, it's their duty.
Well,
they have chosen. And there's a reason why certain countries, certain areas, certain cities where it's predominantly put in. Now, obviously, abortions are probably going on everywhere in the world. But we're the ones that are, probably pushing it the most because
why?
Because there's money behind it. It's always money. It's always about the money. And it's an argument. So we're for it. They're not. Vote for us because we are. Don't vote for them because they're not. And it's a stupid argument. But yet, the idiots fall for it. And they believe, they just the whole thing with, it was this, going back to the Supreme Court thing, like, that was an uprising for, 3 weeks, and then everybody's like, well, I know, like, where did it go? They got to keep on bringing it up because.
Is this does she have children?
I believe she
Camel
does.
toe?
Yeah. I believe she does, or he did. I don't know.
I mean, how do you make this about a medical, a woman's right to medical care? I mean, it's completely ridiculous. It's insane. I don't know. And
Well, I mean, if you did the statistics for Planned Parenthood, majority of the money is for abortions. It's not for healthcare. That's the sad part. Like, it's not for, oh, I went there to get condoms, birth control, and everything else, because what they make their money on is the baby products.
baby parts. Yeah.
Whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. That's, I mean, it's easy
Well,
enough
it's true.
to go.
They admit it. They even admitted it.
I'm just saying, to the people out there who may or may not be watching or listening, it's easy enough to go find if you really generally want to go look for it.
Right.
It's out there. They sell the parts. And there's a reason, like we've said for years now, there's a reason why the African American community is still at 14% since the 60s.
Right. Right, because they have the most abortions. Tell me that's not racism, systemic racism. If you want systemic racism, there it is.
And we've said it before.
On a silver platter.
Who was Margaret Sanger?
Sanger.
Sanger, whatever. Even more. Go look into it.
Yeah, but they won't.
No, I'm aware, and we understand it. It's just it's just an issue that the Democrats are pushing. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just they have to keep it going because, if you live in a Republican state, you're not going to be allowed to do this. All right, well, maybe just work on not getting pregnant out of frivolously.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. My mind is blown. All right, here's some more of her speech from the.
Even then, people live in fear of what might be next. Because Republicans in Congress are now calling for a nationwide abortion ban. Some even from the moment of conception. The right of every woman in every state in this country to make decisions about her own body is on the line. And I've said it before and I will say it again. How dare they? How dare they?
Right.
Yeah, but I could say the same thing about her.
Right.
How dare you make a decision about another life? What gives you the right to decide whether someone else lives or dies? Just because it doesn't make any sense to me. So how about giving me, if I get a girl pregnant and she has the baby, how about giving me the right not to fucking pay for it?
If she chooses to keep it.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
And the other thing is, if I get a girl pregnant and she doesn't want to have an abortion, I can't make her have one. I have no rights.
Right.
But I'm not looking for rights.
You should have did better. You should have used protection.
Right, but
if you were afraid of that consequence.
But I'm not looking for rights.
No, I got
I'm looking for life. I'm looking for the right to life.
And I think the only person that
is guaranteed by our Constitution.
I think the only person that's actually pushing for that is like Lindsey Graham wrote a bill up back in. I mean, and even now, like everything that was any bill that was written in the previous Congress is washed away. That's why they had to sign all the bullshit and throw all their bullshit in the last month of December there before they went on break, or else we're going to have the government shutdown, is because all the nonsense that they wanted to get into their bills for the last 2 years gets washed away, and now this new Congress starts fresh on whatever day it was, January 5th or whatever they started. So now all the new bills for the next 2 years have to get done.
But they're not going to get done.
No, I'm aware, because Joe already said anything that the MAGA Republicans do, he's going to veto.
Well, whatever any Republican does, he's going to veto.
Yeah, so here.
I mean, they're not going to, it doesn't matter who puts a bill in. It's not going to pass.
Right.
It's not even going to get, if it gets out of the House, it's not going anywhere else.
Exactly.
So she's screaming about nothing, first of all.
Well, it's also.
It's already in the states' hands, and it's up to the states. The federal government isn't going to do it. The only thing the federal government wants to do is have abortion anytime, anywhere. Democrat-controlled federal government. They want abortion on call.
Yeah, but it went to the Supreme Court, so there's nothing they can codify. Whatever the fuck that means, I can codify it. Like,
well, they mean by making a law and passing it. That's what that means. But they can't.
But it's unconstitutional. That's the reason why the Supreme Court said, we're not. It's not.
It's up to the states.
Yeah.
It's not for the federal government to decide.
It's also like what you said about marriage. Like, it's not under God. It's in this. You know what I mean? Like, you don't like my God anyway.
Right. Marriage is a holy sacrament. It's not a. It's
but
not a legal.
The thing is, like what you said, like the like you just said, Republicans can write kind of like San Francisco. We're going to give every African American person in San Francisco $5 million. That sounds great, but it's not going to happen.
Right.
Because it's going to get shot down along the way. But
well, it's all talk.
But that's my point. So she's making her argument that the Republicans want to do this when they don't have the Senate. And if it does get passed in the Senate, Joe's going to be like, no. Right. So that doesn't matter. So it's like with the income tax thing that Kevin McCarthy did and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to get rid of the federal income tax. Yeah, you could say that. We can be all for it. But when it gets to the Senate, they have the Senate, the Democrats.
Yeah.
It's either going to look bad that the Democrats don't want to do that, and that's what Joe's spinning now, because when he's, the 23% tax increase on this, but he doesn't tell you the other side of what they want to get rid of.
No.
But it makes it look like the Republicans are trying to tax everybody. But they know that it doesn't matter, because once it gets to the Senate, it's going to get shut down. It's the same thing with the impeachments. Like, we knew Pelosi could sign off on 1,000 impeachments. It doesn't matter. Once it got to the Senate, it was never going to go through anyway.
Right.
But we knew that.
Right, but they knew it too, and they didn't care.
But it looks good to their constituents that we impeached them. We tried. No, you didn't. Like, yeah, you went through the first article. You know what I mean? You got to the first process. Now it has to go here. But it's the same thing. Like, once these bills get stonewalled in the Senate, it's just going to be another thing.
Well, listen, this is, if you compare the Democratic Party and what they're doing now to the Nazis, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Joe Biden is Adolf Hitler.
They just don't have the boots on the ground and the guns and the tanks in the streets.
They don't need them. They control the media.
Exactly. The propaganda is out there.
They control big business.
Mm-hmm.
They control the pharmaceutical companies, or the pharmaceutical companies control them.
That too.
You got all these billionaires in Davos controlling everything. They're all puppets.
The best thing
They're all
is
puppeteers.
The best thing is that the World Economic Forum and they met last year. The year got worse. Like you have some of the richest people, or some of the brightest people for that matter too, trying to come up with these great ideas, and they're all terrible, and it's just running into.
They're not ideas; they're agendas. That's the problem.
No. I got it. I'm just saying, like, well, next year when we get together, we're going to make it even better. Like, it's just a show of, like, a bunch of assholes getting together talking shit about what they want for us when they don't live like us.
Well, it's what they want for themselves. It ain't had nothing to do with us. We're just in the way. We're just in the way.
No, they want us to wear the Neuralinks and the brain chips in our bodies and have the chip in our hands so that they know every little thing of, oh, you bought too much beer this weekend. You're cut off for the rest of the month. You drove your car too far. You're not allowed to leave your house unless it's on an electric bicycle. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff that they want. Or you bought too much meat, so now you have to eat bugs for the next 2 weeks to catch back up on your carbon. Which is all just made up bullshit.
All right. Well, listen, they're much like the Nazis, they're exterminating people at a greater number than the Nazis did. Yeah. Look at count all the babies we've been killing since.
Wow. Yeah, come on.
Well,
I hear you.
And all the people that have been dying at the hands of the drug companies. I mean, we're exterminating people left and right, and nobody cares. But when COVID hit, oh boy, we better do something.
Well,
we should have done nothing. And you know what? I'm disappointed that Donald Trump got hoodwinkled, or whatever. Because he should have never done half the things he did. He was right. He was right when he first said everything's fine. We're going to be fine.
Well, that's what happened.
And they threw him under the bus, and
Yeah,
he listened to Fauci, which he should have never done.
But those people, that's what happened. Those people were put into place to set the agenda of this.
Yeah.
Of this.
Yeah.
And because he won, I mean, they set back the whole agenda of their schemes for 4 years. Now you're seeing everything super fast and super aggressive because they have to catch up on the 4 years.
Yeah, and where's this? Listen, if we can't, like, again, I'll say it again, we can't have a civilized society if we're murdering our own people. It can't happen. We don't live in a civilized society. It's a joke. And until we get to the people, the average American, and show them that, we got to change hearts. We got to get people to believe, listen, people that are alive, how can you want to stop someone else from enjoying their gift of life too? These abortions are abortions of convenience.
Where their mindset's not set
And a
that
lot
way.
of these women who get abortions are lied to. They're lied to. They're lied to not only by the government and the powers that be, but they're being lied to by their own families. Nobody wants their teenage daughter to have a baby. I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to be a grandparent. I don't want to have to help her. I don't want to have to take care of it. I don't want to have her move in with her kid. It's all selfishness. All selfishness. And we're just asking you to let the kid live. Let the kid have a chance. Put it up for adoption. There's so many families that can't have kids.
Yeah.
And we're just murdering children for no gosh darn reason. It's terrible. It's a terrible place we live in right now, and I don't know how these people sleep at night. I know that someday they're going to have to answer for it. If not in this life, the next. I can promise you that. But Kamala Harris has made a deal with the devil. Most of these people have.
Well, yeah, they don't believe in that God. Their God is somebody else.
Yeah, their God is Beelzebub. That's who their freaking God is. All right, we're getting
most likely.
There's a couple things I want to talk about in the upcoming episodes. I want to talk about this, the 5 cops in Mississippi, I guess it was, that killed the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I got a bunch of clips of Joe. Just the guy's a mess. I mean, it's unbelievable. But we'll get back to it. All right, let's get out of here. All right, everybody. Orange Men Podcast, Dave and Clint.
What's over there in the corner? Some top secret documents in that box?
Yeah. That's
that too.
They're labeled classified.
Listen, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back.
It's good to get a lot of stuff off my mind.
Okay, off your chest. All right, we'll be back to do some more.
All right.
All right, Orange Men out.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.